All right, so get this. We're diving deep into something pretty wild today, Schrecktober Fest. You sent over a whole month's worth of these social media posts about it, and I gotta say, I'm hooked. But what exactly IS this thing? Like, is it just some quirky online persona, or could it be, I don't know, a real cultural phenomenon,
Yeah.
maybe even a global conspiracy?
Well, that's what we're here to figure out, right? I mean, we've got posts about ancient Schrecktopian traditions, shout outs to wrestlers, even mentions of a war commission. I'm definitely intrigued.
Okay, so let's break it down a bit.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, the basics seem to be that Schrecktoberfest is this month-long celebration that ends on October 31st, which just so happens to be our source's birthday. And there's this big emphasis on fun, good times, and a whole lot of enthusiasm for things like comic books, and this is the weird part, Chinese food.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this fictional holiday seems to blend together parts of real-world pop culture with, well, what looks like a pretty rich, though maybe a bit absurd, history. There are all these references to historical figures like Phineas the Wise and Sir Gallus, and then there's that mention of a great Schrecktober tome from, get this, around 1100 AD.
Wait, hold on. A tome from 1100 AD? I mean, that seems to suggest this isn't just some recent thing someone made up on the internet. Are we maybe talking about a real, like, historical celebration that's been, kind of reimagined for today?
That's a really good question, and honestly, it's something that we should definitely keep in mind as we dig deeper into all of this, because the source material definitely blurs the lines between what's real and what's made up, and it's up to us to try and figure out what's actual history and what's Shrektopian, so to speak.
All right, challenge accepted. So what about this whole global conspiracy thing? Because there are all these mentions of embassies, a national Schrecktober outreach committee, even parts of documents that are like completely blacked out. I'm getting some serious X-Files vibes here.
Yeah, and what's especially interesting to me is the tone of those mentions. It's not like doom and gloom or fear mongering. There's this feeling of, I don't know, anticipation, maybe even excitement around these hints that there's something bigger going on.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's almost like they're saying something big is coming and it's all connected to Schrecktoberfest. And you almost want to know the secret.
Exactly. And that brings us to the man behind the curtain, our source, Stuart Schreck. I mean, he seems like a fun-loving guy, maybe a bit eccentric, but
Yeah.
definitely passionate about sharing this whole Schrecktoberfest thing.
He's talking about this war commission and total world, and then like the rest of the sentence is blacked out. But then he's also posting about how much he loves wrestling and dim sum. It's
Yeah.
like this weird mix of the cryptic and well, the totally normal.
That's a really good point. That juxtaposition, it makes you wonder, is he doing this on purpose? Is he trying to create this mysterious vibe, or is it just part of who he is? Is he like a mastermind or a prankster, or I don't know, something in between?
Yeah, good question. So it sounds like we need to pay attention to not just what he's saying, but like how he's saying it. His tone, the words he uses, maybe even his emojis could be clues to what he's really up to.
Absolutely. That's where the real fun begins. Let's take a look at some specific posts and see what we can find in Stewart's Schrecktoberfest chronicles.
Great idea. I'm
Yeah.
I'm already seeing some themes pop up and some little details that we could definitely unpack. Like he keeps mentioning these Schrecktober haters. So even in this, super joyful celebration, it seems like there's this acknowledgement of negativity and opposition.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting how he talks about those haters. Remember that quote from the great Schrecktober tome, something about deal with jerks with drink, food, and then it's blacked out. I can't help but wonder, is that just a joke? Or is there something more to it?
Ooh, good catch. And remember how he talked about how Schrecktopians were like generally a negative bunch, but they would try to be more positive during Schrecktoberfest. It's almost like he's like commenting on, human nature, the whole struggle between cynicism and hope.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems to suggest that Schrecktoberfest isn't just about having fun. It's like this deliberate attempt to fight negativity and promote a more positive outlook for individuals and for everyone.
Right, right. It's like this call to action, a challenge to be more joyful, more optimistic. So what about that Schrecktopia Travel Bureau report? The one that mentions total world, and then the rest is blacked out. And it talks about how something big is coming. I'm getting chills.
Yeah, it's definitely a little creepy. There are so many blacked out sections. It mentions appointing agents to embassies and this war commission thing. Clearly something organized is happening, but the details are so vague.
I know, right? It's like they're leaving these little clues to lead us down this rabbit hole. And don't forget about those travel agents being appointed to Schrecktopian embassies and consulates.
Yeah.
It seems like there's this whole network working towards some goal we don't know about.
It definitely raises the stakes. We're not just dealing with a fun celebration anymore. This could be something that affects the real world, which, to be honest, makes it even more interesting.
It really does. It's like Schrecktoberfest is this Trojan horse hiding something much bigger, something that could change the world. Oh, I'm totally hooked on this conspiracy now, but we need more clues.
Well, how about this? Remember that post about the president of Schrecktopia? The one where they're wearing floral shirts during Schrecktober instead of, their usual
Oh
suits?
yeah, I love that detail.
Yeah.
And their response, when someone asked what they should wear, what should I wear? A t-shirt with my face on it. It's like a little jab at authority.
Exactly. It suggests that Schrecktoberfest might not just be a personal thing, but something that affects all of society, even the leaders of Schrecktopia. Imagine a world where leaders were more playful, more unconventional. It's an interesting thought.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this possible world-changing conspiracy and this subtle critique of how power works, and it's all tied in with a celebration of comic books and dim sum. This is getting good. But where does that leave our listeners? What does Schrecktoberfest mean for, the average person?
Well, I think it goes back to that idea of personal change, even if there isn't some big conspiracy. Schrecktoberfest gives us this way to find joy and create positive change in our own lives. It encourages us to be grateful, to really try to be happy and to be optimistic even when things are tough.
Right. It's about choosing joy, choosing connection, choosing to celebrate the good stuff. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, if enough people do that, it could actually make the world a better, more joyful place for everyone.
One of the things that really jumps out at me about all this is how much Schrecktoberfest is about personal transformation. Like, it's not just about, having a good time. It's about really trying to become a better version of yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, remember that post where Stuart was talking about all the things he's glad for, catching up with his friends, his weight loss journey, even just, Schrecktoberfest itself. It's this really powerful message about gratitude and just, appreciating the simple things in life.
Right. And what's interesting is it's not just about being thankful for what you have. It's about going out and finding those positive experiences. Like his list of things he's looking forward to: Chinese food, wrestling, spending time with people he cares about. It reads like a Schrecktoberfest bucket list. It's like a guide to being happy.
It's like he's challenging us to be more intentional about happiness, to really make an effort to fill our lives with things that bring us joy. And it's not just him either. Like, remember that quote from his friend, the one who described Stuart as level-headed but outside the box and sarcastic, and how he has this smirk that makes me want to punch him.
Oh yeah, that's right. A little bit of humor and realness. But it also tells us something important. Even the people who know Stuart best, they see that he has this unique perspective, this ability to find joy in unexpected places.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It reminds us that Schrecktoberfest isn't just about, following rules or traditions. It's a reflection of Stuart, his personality, his way of seeing the world.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to those hints about a global conspiracy. We've got those blacked out documents, mentions of a war commission. It's all very secretive, but what does it all mean?
Well, remember that Schrecktopia Travel Bureau report, the one where it talks about total world and then the rest is blacked out, and how important it is to spread, well, something that part's blacked out too, worldwide.
Right.
It's definitely hinting at something big, but the details are so vague.
I know, right? It's like they're purposely leaving us these little clues. And we can't forget about those travel agents being sent to all the Schrecktopian embassies and consulates. It seems like a coordinated effort, some kind of global network working towards something.
Yeah, for sure. It raises the stakes. We're not just talking about a fun, quirky celebration anymore. We could be talking about something that affects the real world, which honestly just makes it even more interesting.
It does, doesn't it? It's like
Yeah.
Schrecktoberfest is this disguise hiding something much bigger, something that could, I don't know, change the world. Okay, I'm all in on this conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
but we need more clues.
Okay, well, what about this? Remember that post about the president of Schrecktopia? The one about how they wear floral shirts during Schrecktober instead of, their usual suits?
Oh yeah. That was a great detail. And remember their response when someone asked what they should wear. What should I wear? A T-shirt with my face on it? It's
Yeah.
almost like a subtle dig at authority.
Exactly. It kind of suggests that Schrecktoberfest might not be just a personal celebration, but something that affects society, even the leaders in Schrecktopia. Imagine a world where leaders were more playful, more, I don't know, unconventional. It's pretty interesting to think about.
It really is. So we've got this potential world-changing conspiracy and this subtle critique of power structures, and
Right.
it's all part of a celebration of comic books and dim sum.
Yeah.
Man, this is amazing. But where does this leave our listeners? What does Schrecktoberfest mean for, for everyday people?
Well, I think it comes back to that idea of personal transformation. Even if there isn't some big global conspiracy, Schrecktoberfest gives us this way to find joy and make positive changes in our own lives. It encourages us to be, to be grateful, to be intentional about happiness, and to choose optimism even when things are tough.
Right. It's about choosing joy, choosing connection, choosing to celebrate the good stuff. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, if enough people did that, it really could make the world a more positive and joyful place for everyone. As we've been going through all this Schrecktoberfest stuff, I keep thinking about how much it kind of reflects how much we all want connection and meaning in our lives.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we live in a really complicated world.
Yeah.
There's so much information coming at us all the time, so much negativity. It's no wonder people are drawn to something that celebrates, joy and generosity and just being together.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
Schrecktoberfest, even though it's made up, it really taps into that feeling we all have, that wanting something positive, something to believe in. So like it gives us this way to celebrate and connect, even a sense of belonging, without having to, follow some specific ideology or belief system.
And I think that's really important. It's inclusive. It
Yeah.
welcomes anyone who wants to be positive and have a good time.
It's like a choose your own adventure celebration.
Yeah.
You can get deep into the whole Schrecktopian thing, or explore those conspiracy theories, or even just, focus on those ideas of joy and generosity in your own life.
Exactly. And even if we never figure out what total world and then blacked out means, this whole process has been really interesting. We've learned about this crazy fictional world, looked at its traditions and history, and even, thought about how it could affect the real world.
It's been quite a ride.
Yeah.
But besides just being entertaining, I think there's a real lesson here for our listeners. We've been talking about how Schrecktoberfest is like this way to find joy and connect with people. But it's also this reminder that we can actually shape our own realities. We can choose to focus on the positive, make our own traditions, and build a more joyful life, a more meaningful life for ourselves and the people around us.
Absolutely. We don't need a made up holiday or some global conspiracy to make us want to be more generous, more connected, or more joyful. We can choose to live that way every day.
So as we wrap up our Schrecktoberfest deep dive,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with this thought. What if we all, embrace that Schrecktoberfest spirit a little bit? What if we all tried to find more joy, celebrate the simple things, and really make an effort to connect with each other in ways that matter?
It might not lead to total world, whatever that's supposed to be, but it could definitely make our little part of the world a brighter and more joyful place.
And that's it for our Schrecktoberfest deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of, well, a truly unique and thought-provoking phenomenon. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.